everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today, we've got a Chicago Bulls game reaction against the Los Angeles Lakers. The Chicago Bulls played in the Staples Center in a back-to-back against two of the LA teams in the Clippers and the Lakers, and I have to say the way that we won both of those games have been absolutely outstanding, and this game was phenomenal from the Chicago Bulls. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today. I am so happy, ladies and gentlemen, and of course we all see that the LA teams right now are not at their best, but at the end of the day we only verse these teams twice, so you have to take advantage of your performances. You have to take advantage of the games in front of you, and the Chicago Bulls, my oh my, were they phenomenal today. We won this game 121 to 103. From the start to the finish, the Chicago Bulls were excellent. Not one bad thing I could probably say about this team at all. It was an absolutely superb performance from the perimeter. We hurt them. I think in almost every stat within this game against the Los Angeles Lakers, we were dominant. And it all comes down to effort. It all comes down to how hard you work. And it all comes down to the fact that we are a team that likes to be strong defensively. We are a team that prides ourselves defensively, and our offense was honestly on another level today than I've even ever seen from this team. So it was a great game to watch today. If you're a Bulls fan watching this game against the LA Lakers, I know many of you in the comments are not huge fans of the LA Lakers, and I'm not going to say anything negative about the Lakers, but watching this game for many of you people, I'm sure, would have been absolutely amazing. I'm sure most of you would have left this game with a smile on your face, and we definitely thoroughly deserved this game. And I believe this is the first time in 10 years that we've beat the Clippers and the Lakers away from home. I believe that was the stat. It definitely was shown throughout the course of the game. So it's a phenomenal thing here that we've just done, ladies and gentlemen. Back to back against the Clippers and the Lakers, and we beat them both fairly soundly. So we do have to give a lot of credit to this team. The bounce back from the Warriors to these two games was phenomenal. Our defense really took it to another level today. This was the best defensive display I've seen. And again, we had to make sure that we slowed down the Lakers. The Lakers did not really get going until we had our garbage time players out there, until we got to experiment with players like Matt Thomas and Kobe White and everybody of that sort. We just could not, they could not get going. Anthony Davis, although he had 18 points or something like that, an extremely quiet night for Anthony Davis, or 20 points I believe, and he ended up getting ejected from that frustration. Russell Westbrook played very well for them, but outside of that, there wasn't much to get them going. They did not have much production from their role players, and the Chicago Bulls bench definitely helped this team as well. And our role players stepped up in a big way, while the Chicago Bulls definitely outworked the LA Lakers as well. So all the respect goes to the Chicago Bulls, and I think a lot of criticism will go to the Los Angeles Lakers after this. Of course, they don't have LeBron, so LeBron will obviously make a big impact, but to be honest, if they had LeBron in this game, the way that they worked, I thought, was really poor, and the Chicago Bulls' work ethic in this game was absolutely fantastic. So we have to be there's a lot to be proud of here, and this Western Conference trip now, it looks like we're going from surviving to thriving. We beat the Clippers. Many of us thought we can survive this Western Conference trip. We can get out of here relatively unharmed. And in the Lakers game, we absolutely thrived. We are thriving in this Western Conference trip right now, and hopefully we can continue to see it. Hopefully we continue to see these really strong performances from the starters, these really strong performances from the bench, and just the really good mentality that we've had on this Western Conference trip. I'm just so proud. There's not much of an analytical perspective I could talk about in relation to this game, because we were just dominant in every avenue. In the assist numbers, we were dominant in terms of the points tallies, the players that got a lot of points today. We saw a good step up from the bench as well. There's not too much negatives you could talk about in this team and in the Chicago Bulls game today. And with that being said, let's just talk about the individual performances. Let's talk about the players that just absolutely went berserk in this game. Starting off with Lonzo Ball. My goodness, Lonzo Ball was absolutely everywhere today. He had 27 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals. What I loved about Lonzo Ball's game today is that he was taking what the defense was giving him. If he had an open 3, he took an open 3. If he had an open mid-range, he took an open mid-range. If he had to pass the ball up to an open player, that's exactly what he did. Him and Derrick Jones Jr. had a really special connection in today's game. And of course, even when he was trying to drive into the paint, it didn't work out for him again today as well, but he definitely took what was given to him. And ladies and gentlemen, he shot 76% from the field today. He was 7 from 10 from the three-point line, and overall 10 from 13 in field goal attempts. So it's a really efficient game from Lonzo Ball. This is the Lonzo Ball that we love to see, close to a triple-double, and was firing on all cylinders. I know we're not going to see a 27-point performance from Lonzo Ball every single game, but it's very useful to have when you don't have a player like Nikola Vucevic in the team that can kind of help in the scoring end. You saw Lonzo Ball step up as that third scorer, technically our second scorer, because he was our second highest leading scorer today. And in the end, he had a fantastic game. He did it against the LA Lakers. I'm sure that's a very proud moment for him. For at the end of the day, the Lakers was his first home. He was drafted by the LA Lakers. He wanted to go to the LA Lakers, and now he's doing it against the LA Lakers. I'm very, very happy with his performance today. Speaking of the hometown kid, DeMar DeRozan had 38 points today, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. I mean, DeMar was fantastic. DeMar has always been fantastic. He's had a couple of games here and there when he's not been at his best, but DeMar has been amazing this season. And my friends and I were talking about this. DeMar DeRozan, if he keeps up this level of performance, where he's thriving like this every game, with Zach LaVine by his side, pretty much being one of the best duos in terms of scoring in the NBA. Can DeMar DeRozan really be in MVP conversations? I think right now that's a conversation to be had, but obviously we need to see this down the line as well. This is the first couple of games of the season, first 10, 11, 12 games of the season. Obviously, we need to see this consistently before we have that serious conversation. But right now, DeMar DeRozan is thriving. I wish he could have got his 40 piece. In the end, they just started to double team him to make sure he couldn't get the 40, and he didn't get the 40 at the end of the day. But he definitely was a phenomenal player in this game today, and he's making threes as well, which is a big step in the right direction. He shot 40% from the three-point line today, 2 from 5 in total. And again, I really enjoyed his performance today. Alex Caruso had 0 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Scoring wise, Alex Caruso was not present today. I think we can all see that with 0 points on the score sheet. He only took 1 shot, but defensively he was everywhere. And as I predicted, the Lakers fans were never going to boo Alex Caruso. He got a standing ovation. He got an MVP caliber celebration in terms of his return. He got the whole video package and everything. They really gave a really good homecoming for Alex Caruso. And again, this is his former team. We have to give respect where it's due. I thought the fans in the Staples Center today, and I thought obviously the Lakers organization in general, did a fantastic job in welcoming back Alex Caruso. You could tell he really felt what it was like being there. And at the end of the day, he did his thing defensively as he normally does. And of course, I would like to see him score more, especially when he is starting. You don't want to see 0 points against any starter. But I don't think we necessarily needed him to score today when everybody else was pretty much just scoring on all cylinders. Zach LaVine had 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Zach LaVine took, I believe, 6 three-pointers, and most of his shots came from the three-point line. So he was doing his damage from that area. He had a really strong first quarter and a really strong first half. He had a consistent performance all the way through. He was getting more players involved. There's not much more you can ask from Zach LaVine in this game. If this was any other game of the season, in my opinion, Zach LaVine would have been the best player today. But when you see Lonzo drop 27 and you see DeRozan drop 38, you see Lonzo had the phenomenal second half. You see the bench performing the way that it did. What can I say about Zach LaVine? I mean, what can I say? He's a phenomenal player. He's a phenomenal scorer. But what can I truly say about Zach LaVine that hasn't already been said already? And plus, there were other players that were better than him today. That's the great part of this. Zach LaVine had a phenomenal game, but there were players that were even better than him today. This was an all-around really strong game from the Chicago Bulls. I can't lie. There was everybody that really had a strong performance in the game. I'm really proud. And Zach LaVine, 26, 5 and 5, and he's not even the main talking point of the game. What does that say for the game today? It's just truly unbelievable. Tony Bradley, the last remaining starter on the team, had 6 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist. What I liked about Tony Bradley in today's game is that he had to do a good job on Anthony Davis. Despite all the offensive miscues that he had at the beginning of the game, he had 3 turnovers. He was making poor passing decisions. He couldn't catch the ball. You could put a lot of things in terms of the offensive side of the ball for Tony Bradley. That's a negative. But I don't think any of us expect Tony Bradley to be dropping 15 points and 11 rebounds per game. He's not that type of center. He can do it on occasion, but he's not always going to be that type of center for the Chicago Bulls. What we needed to see from him is him to guard Anthony Davis. One of the biggest things, in my opinion, that I thought really stuffed up the Lakers, but maybe it didn't in hindsight, they decided to match what the Chicago Bulls were doing instead of going against what I think many of us thought would be the bigger lineup. I thought coming into this game we would see DeAndre Jordan or Dwight Howard start, and we would see Anthony Davis as the power forward and truly go with a big unit. They decided to match up with us and play small ball, and I think that was their first mistake in the game. They should not have matched up with the Chicago Bulls, because I think we have played this system for so long now in terms of small ball. Outside of Vucevic, outside of Tony Bradley, we have played small ball a lot longer, in my opinion, this season than them. And it works to our advantage. I thought they were going to change their lineup. I thought they were going to adjust to what we had to offer, and they adjusted to match with us. And in the end, we took advantage of that. And Tony Bradley did a good job guarding Anthony Davis. Of course, it wasn't just him. Lonzo Ball helped a lot against Anthony Davis. Same with Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso. Everybody on the team helped with Anthony Davis. It was a team effort to guard Anthony Davis, and it resulted in him getting fouled out. Getting ejected, with 2 technicals. It resulted in a really poor performance and a game where Anthony Davis, the only way he could succeed against this Chicago Bulls defense was to get to the line. And he did that very well. Anthony Davis is not a bad player by any stretch of the means, but I really thought this was a good step in the right direction in learning how to guard players like this. Double teaming, in committee, team effort. That's what we're going to need, especially when we don't have the size to guard them one-on-one. We're going to need that team effort, I should say, against some of those bigger players, some of those elite big men in the NBA. Let's move on to the bench, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start off with Ayo Dosunmu, who had 5 points, 1 assist, 5 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. My apologies. What I liked about Ayo, in the end, he played 20 minutes, so it's not necessarily a great game from Ayo with only 5 points and 2 assists. But what I like about Ayo, he's still fearless. He's still taking the shots that he believes he can make. And of course, defensively and rebounding-wise, only 1 rebound, but he has the hustle play to get the minutes. I'm really excited about the hustle of this kid. And at the end of the day, 26 or 28% from the field. It's not the best game from Ayo offensively or stat-wise in general, but we know why he's playing, and this is why he's playing, because of the defense, because of the energy that he brings, the ability to run out in transition. He's more often going to be an asset than someone that's going to be hurting us. And although the stats might not show it today, I thought he had a decent game. It's kind of hard not to have a decent game with situations like this. Derrick Jones Jr. had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Derrick Jones Jr. was amazing. Easily our best bench player today. He was one of those, he played center at times today. So what he did really well was he made sure he put himself in the right position where the ball could get to him, because they were so focused on our perimeter, how we were hurting them on the perimeter, which we were. Derrick Jones Jr. put himself right in the free throw line. He gets the ball, takes a bounce, takes 2 steps, gets into the paint. He had 3 and 1s in this game today. All of them are the exact same and 1. Where he's at the free throw line, either Lonzo or Zach or Demar gets him the ball, he goes in, he takes 1 dribble, he goes up, uses his athleticism so he's not going to get blocked, gets an and 1, and that's how he got a lot of his shots today. He was great. He was great defensively as well. His size, his rebounding, it's exactly what we want from Derrick Jones Jr. He did a really poor game against the Clippers, and I think we can all see that. This is a really good bounce back game from him. Devonte Green had 2 points and 1 rebound with 2 steals. The energy player, Devonte Green, hopefully he's okay. He did end up only playing limited minutes, only 13 minutes today, and he did hurt his ankle. I hope it's not a serious injury by any stretch of the means. And yeah, I just have to say, like, I hope it's not serious because we have enough injury issues as it is. I don't want to see anyone else go down. Then with the last 2 players I'm going to talk about, Kobe White only had 1 rebound today. He had 2 shots, and I think both of them, one of them was a misfire, the other one was a block. He's still getting his rhythm. He only played 10 minutes today. We're probably going to continue to see him play in minute restrictions. And once he gets his feet under him, once he learns how to play with the team, adjust with the team, again, it's a patience issue. I don't want anybody to go and attack Kobe White for the game that he had today. It is patience. That's what's required. And I think he's going to get there. I think he will get there. And it's going to be hard not to get there with the players that we have on this team. And he will boost us more than he will hurt us as well. And Troy Brown Jr. had a really strong 4 points in 3 minutes. I did want to mention that in because I didn't mention him in the last video when he had 5 rebounds. I think it's only fair I mention him with his 4 points and 1 steal today. There's no must improve, ladies and gentlemen. When you win at this point, when you win as much as you do with the amount of points that you have against the opposition that you're playing in away from home, there's no need to go to a must improve. And again, I will keep doing it. I will not give must improves when we're winning the way that we are, because we deserve to have everybody get praise for this game. Whether they had a really poor game or whether they kind of contributed to whether they had an elite game, there's no reason to give a must improve against the Los Angeles Lakers away from home and winning the way that we did. The player of the game, look, honestly, you could truly give it to most of the starting 5 here. You could give it to Lonzo Ball. I would not have a problem with that. You could give it to Demar. I would not have a problem with that whatsoever. You could give it to Zach LaVine, and I wouldn't have a problem with it whatsoever. For me, I'm going to give it to Demar because he had 38 and 6. I think Lonzo Ball is definitely a candidate for this as well, because he made his shots, and making his shots is the big part, but he was close to a triple-double today. So you could obviously give it to Lonzo Ball. I think Zach LaVine would be the lesser of the 3. But for me, DeMar DeRozan is the one that I'm going to give it to. 38 points, and he was just making some ridiculous shots out there. Unbelievable shots out there. He shot 65% from the field, 15 from 23. He took 23 shots. He made 15 of them. He was unbelievable today. He was a great player. He was someone that you could always rely on. He was someone, again, when Lonzo Ball is hitting shots, when Zach LaVine is hitting shots, when you have players like Tony Bradley that is setting screens, and you have all of those people on the floor together, you can't double team DeMar DeRozan. You just can't. You can't double team Zach LaVine. You can't double team Lonzo Ball, because at the end of the day, when all of them are firing like this, it's ridiculously hard to stop, and you can't double team. You have to respect those players. So DeMar, when he's seeing Zach LaVine have a great start like he did, Lonzo Ball making 2 threes in the first quarter, DeMar has his game, and he's going to be 1v1ing players, and he's going to be able to take them to the mid-range, take them to the paint, get to the foul line, shoot his mid-range, and just be the player that he is. And it's easier for him to be that kind of player when you have players like this that are firing. So congratulations to DeMar DeRozan on a great game, and his game is partly because of the rest of the players. I wish I could give all 3 of Lonzo, DeMar, and Zach the player of the game. I wish I could do that, but if I had to pick one, it would be DeMar DeRozan. I thought everybody really played their big part in this game. The Bulls record is 10-4, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great record to see. And this is the first, this is the double digits, ladies and gentlemen. We got our 10th victory of the season. Looking at the table right now, I still believe we are one of the top teams in the East. I believe we are second in the East right now. So that is good to see. We need to keep track because there are teams like the Wizards that are still first, performing at a very high level. Then you got the Nets and the Heat and the Cavs. Really strong performances so far. Really surprising Eastern Conference as well, to be honest. Looking at this so far, to see the Cavs where they are, to see the Wizards first in the East, then obviously to see down below, you see teams like the Bucks that are 11th right now. Philly's 7th. It's a really close Eastern Conference race, and 3 or 4 games difference between the top and the bottom. But it is very interesting to see how the Eastern Conference has gone so far, and all we can do is focus on ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, and a big win against the Los Angeles Lakers is exactly what we need to do consistently. Hopefully we can see another great game like this going forward. And we're going to have to, because the next game is against the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, Portland is another up and down team, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want people to overlook the Portland Trail Blazers. They did win their last game against the Toronto Raptors. They have a 7-8 record. So we will walk in to this team as the favorites to win, which is expected with the team that we have. We should walk in to the Portland Trail Blazers and we should be the favorites to win. But they have dangerous players. They have Damian Lillard, I still believe, is playing. They have CJ McCollum is still playing. Both of them had pretty good games against the Toronto Raptors. Both of them are really big threats. So this is not going to be an easy game, but I am walking into this game as confident as I was walking into this Clippers and Lakers team. I have to be confident against every team because you have the caliber of players to win these games. When you don't win, of course, it's going to suck. But you have to feel confident when you walk into these games. And if we beat the Portland Trail Blazers, I'll be very ecstatic with how this Western Conference trip has gone. And I'll be very, very happy with the Chicago Bulls. It all comes down to Portland to me or Denver. If we can win one out of these two, I'll be very, very happy with this Western Conference trip. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Please like and subscribe if you're new. We will verse the Lakers one more time. So for the Lakers fans that have watched this game and kind of want that revenge, you might have a chance to get it at the United Center. Hopefully the Chicago Bulls will be as good as ever by then. And hopefully we can have a repeat performance. Let's see how that game goes at the United Center whenever it is. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in another Chicago Bulls video. And hopefully we can have a repeat performance against the Trail Blazers. Take care.